It is with great pleasure and anticipation that we gather here today for the inaugural session of the Spark Webinar Series 2023. And what better way to kickstart this journey than by welcoming truly remarkable individual, a visionary in the field of personal development, and an iconic guru in every sense. Allow me to introduce our esteemed resource person for today's session, Mr. Ranuka Gamage. Mr. Ranuka Gamage is named that resonates with empowerment, transformation, and excellence. His illustration profile is a testament to his commitment to personal and professional growth. Mr. Ranuka Gamage currently serves as the Director of Human Resource and Marketing at Ocean Beach International Private Limited, and some of his notable achievements include founding the TVEZ recognized personal development program, initiating the 100 for 100 school CSR project, and service as a professional corporate trainer. Furthermore, he serves as a life guidance coach and a counselor, a business development consultant for entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka, and personal finance growth counselor. And also, he imparts his knowledge as a lecturer at CIPM Sri Lanka and ICBT campus, and he is affiliated with prestigious organizations like the Institute of Bankers of Sri Lanka and the Chartered Institute of Marketing in UK and the Chartered Institute of Personal Management in Sri Lanka. In summary, Mr. Michael Ranuka Gamage is not just a resource person, and he is a beacon of inspiration, a guide to personal and professional transformation, and a true luminary in the field of personal development. We are honored and privileged to have him as our keynote speaker for the Spark Webinar Series 2023.
So I'm Michael Ranuka Gamage, and it's a pleasure to be with you all today. And it is my great privilege, which was granted to me by the universe, to meet great people, young and great people like you. So today I'm going to make you greater. I'm going to make you better. And today we are going to change our future potentials towards greater and better aspects. Let me help your journey to become better, powerful, and amazing in whatever you do. I'm the only personal development expert or only personal development guru in Sri Lanka who has the government recognition through the Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission. There, I'm the only one who has created a personal development course which is scientific. There may be many people around the world who claims to have a personal development course or a series of trainings, but this is the only program in the world which is scientifically created and only proven program to have success. So I have been doing this for a while, and now I have a lot of testimonies to back it up, and I'm even doing my doctoral research based on that. I'm focusing on the effect of personal development towards employee performance. So that's my research project for my doctoral degree, and I'm at the research phase now. Apart from that, I'm a person with solutions. I always tell my marketing students whenever I do a marketing lecture, I would tell them I'm a man of solutions, because that is my value proposition. So you are free to ask anything and everything. You are free to express yourself as you want to. So in our discussion plan, we are going to cover the importance of a strategy for a particular job application. And then we are going to talk about how to write an effective CV. Then we are going to talk about how to keep your CV ATS friendly, because this is one of the aspects that most of the people are missing out. Then we are going to talk about crafting effective cover letters. And finally, we are going to talk about how to prepare the resume. And I'm going to give you some basic ideas, because there's a lot of havoc going on. There's a lot of confusion happening right now when it comes to the resume and the CV, because whenever you search in the web, you get the resume instead of a CV, and there's a huge misconception that both of these applications are the same, which is not the case. There's a lot to learn. This is an opportunity for you where people spend a lot of money, and it's a very good initiative, a social initiative where I'm happily contributing. So get the maximum benefit and try to develop yourself to the next level. As university students, you know that having a strategy will definitely increase your opportunities. So what is the path? The first thing is you need to showcase your skills, experience, and achievements. So that's one of the key aspects when you are applying for a job. Okay. Now, in some cases, you don't have a CV to apply. You have to apply through the system itself, and it goes to the ATS. Now, when I joined Commercial Bank back in 2008, when I joined there, in 2008 also they had ATS where I applied through the website. In 2008 also they had ATS, that is applicant tracking system, where I applied through the system itself. I did not forward a CV. I forwarded the CV only when I needed to have internal promotions, and I have forwarded CVs when I wanted to have these lecturing opportunities. And apart from that, it's very rare. Mostly what I forward is my prospectus or else my profile. Nowadays, mostly it's the profile. Very rarely somebody would ask me to send my CV. So the next one is you need to match the expectation and the particular needs of the employer. So when you're applying for a job, you are showing that you need this job, that you like to work in this company. That enthusiasm, that eagerness, it's very important, my friends. If they don't see that, what it means is that you are just applying for all the places that are around the town. Don't go there. Don't be that. Instead, try to create a meaningful, customized experience for your prospective employer. And when you do that, please note this. When you are preparing your CV, there are many aspects for you to look at. It's the first positive impression that you are going to create towards the interview pathway. To go up to the level that they invite you, you have to create a very positive impression. So that is why you need to have a proper strategy for your job application. Moving on to the next thing, I'm going to talk about how to write an effective CV. Okay, so I'm going to cover all aspects, different technical aspects, and there are a lot of misconceptions. Now, I know students who are learning and who are trying to apply for a lot of jobs, and they always say, sir, no one is asking us to come for an interview. When they send the CV, either there's no signature, there's no date, or it's a super old CV that they have sent me, or else it's not a CV at all. It's an abomination of the CV and the resume, and sometimes even a profile. So it's confusing. I have seen many students sending just one-page CVs. Now, when I say this, I know you are also wondering if you're having a one-page CV, you're also wondering, yes, if you're having a one-page CV, that is totally wrong. Simple as that. Okay, I only work with international standards. I introduce international standards, I maintain international standards, because I always focus on the universal aspects. So let me give you the right guidance. Amending yourself based on that is your part. Advising you on what's to be done is my part. Are you going to end up as a confused sperm or a success sperm? It's up to you, because you all are adults. So let's get engaged with the idea. The basics of a curriculum vitae. CV is a curriculum vitae. We call it a curriculum vitae because it's the French term. Curriculum vitae means course of life. So you are giving the course of life, comprehensive. It has all the details about how your life patterns have grown up to this level. And there's a catch here. You are just talking about the professional life. The main idea is to summarize your skills, experiences, education qualifications, and then different achievements that are relevant to the particular job or the job category or the particular profession that you are applying to. Right? You are not catering a 100% focused idea here. You are just catering the concept of course of life in a professional manner. So your professional course of life should be mentioned here, 100%. But in a resume, it won't be like that. Resume is a different story. I'm again and again telling you this because I see that a lot of students, a lot of people, students are falling into the trap, and there are a lot of people who are promoting this particular resume concept. But when you go to the companies, specifically after doing some HR degree or HR program, and if you produce such rubbish, they are going to laugh at you, and most probably they are not going to invite you for a particular interview, because by that they know that you are not competent enough and that you have not completed your particular qualification, and it's a mere paper that you have. Right? That's how I would do. I know that's how others will do as well, unless in a very rare case, because They know that you are not competent enough. But for an entry level position, yes, for entry level positions they might consider. And the beauty of this is they will never tell you that there is something like this because they don't care, right? So be careful, do it right. Usually a CV will definitely go up to 2 to 3 pages, and sometimes depending on your course of life might go up to 4 pages. Course of life. Course of life means it has everything. It's a comprehensive overview, as I told you about the professional background and the qualifications that you have. You have to start your preparation, start your activities right now. If you want to be in the competitive market out there, trust me, your degrees are not going to help you at all. It will only get you there. Mark my word, it will only get you there. But going further will depend on your skills. That's why they arrange these kind of things at the university to improve your soft skills and improve your ability to perform better, right? But if you are not focused, it's just going to be a paper qualification that you are going to end up with. Trust me, I have seen this from happening. I have seen people from suffering. So this is your learning zone. Be focused, be prepared, because if someone in the school or somewhere has promised you that just by learning the degree and passing these degrees that you are going to get jobs and your life is going to be settled, they have clearly had a mistaken idea from the 70s and 80s. This is 21st century. This is 2023, where the competition is super high and there are enough and more qualified people. We want qualified people, yes, but more than that, we need competent and quality people. We look at quality over qualifications. When I advise my clients to recruit people, I would focus more on interviews where they have more attitude testing, different kind of testing for simulations, giving case studies and different real life cases for them to provide solutions. Because we have to change the way that we are doing things. We have to give the opportunity for the braver people. So be brave, be ready. So when you format the CV, the first thing that you have to notice is that there are three types. One is either you can go chronological or you can go with the functional part, and the best one is the hybrid one, right? So chronological, functional or hybrid, these are the three options that you have. Don't worry, I'm going to explain about it. Chronological means simply you are listing your activities from the latest to the last. From the most recent one, going down, down, down will be the last. So if it's a 2023 qualification that you have, it will be on the top. Then 2022 will be next. 2019 will be next. 2015 will be next. So you will have the latest course of your life because you have ample things to show. This is applicable when you have consistent history of work, consistent history of development, like every 1 year or 2 years time period, you have some development. There is something for you to add. There are no huge gaps. Then the chronological order is going to serve you well. But if not, if there are gaps, then you go for the functional CV. In the functional CV, you focus on more skills and abilities. You are trying to show your quality and the competence. Now here, rather than the work history, the employer will be attracted to the quality and the particular competencies that you're showing off. If you go and put a chronological order, the employer is going to quickly identify that there's a huge gap. So that's how you play the game. Right? You have to be very careful to play the game to get the attraction. And after that, when you go to the interview, you can convince them with your persona and the personality. Personality is a word that is coming from the word called persona. There are 5 personas according to Japanese culture. Face that you show to the society, the face that you show to the family, the face that you show to the friends, the face that you know but no one else would know, your private face. There's another self that you are yet to discover and you are not aware about it. So that is where I come in. I help you to discover the self, your self-worth, and find out self-mastery through self-knowledge. Okay, so that's the final step, the final persona. With those personas, you are reaching to the world and projecting your personality in different ways. This, as I told you earlier, will be very good for candidates who are having certain gaps in their employments, career changes that you want to do. To do that, they will first look at the experience that you have So if you have a chronological order, you are going to fail at that point. But if you have a functional order, they are going to see, I have to do this particular job. This person has this particular skill set. All right, let's invite for the interview and see. This all depends on the occasion. If you have limited experience also, this is going to work for you well. The ultimate or the best one that I suggest is the hybrid CV, where you are going to combine both elements, both the chronological and functional elements of the CV, and having a balanced sort of a view. And finally, it's very suitable if you want to emphasize on their qualification as well as achievements and their skill set in a balanced manner. So a hybrid CV is what I always recommend, and that is exactly what I'm going to tell you about today. Then I'm going to talk about the next level, that is how to set your CV right. Okay, so up to now we have discussed about the different patterns of a CV. So the personal mission statement is very crucial. This is where you get the attraction. Do things logically, do things scientifically. Science don't go wrong, logics will not go wrong. Universal laws, universal rules will never go wrong. They always help you to achieve. When you don't get them right only, things go hairy and weary. Right. So in the personal mission statement, it's very important that you talk about who you are. You have to state who you are in a very simple manner, very few sentences, and you have to let them know what you can offer and your particular career goals. Now, when that is there, it's like a summary. Okay, it's like an executive summary to a particular research. A creative and a passionate graphic designer with over 5 years of experience in creating and engaging innovative designs for various clients. So you have just stated who you are. Next one is clearly offering the particular offers or the career goals. Skilled in using Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, those are the key areas that a graphic designer would require. Then InDesign, seeking to join the company as a senior graphic designer and contribute to a vision of excellence. Now there you have nicely summarized what you want to have in a summative or a summation format. Then once the mission statement is done, you have to bring the start of the CV. Now we are going to start the amazing journey. You are going to take the person on an amazing journey to learn about you. Here you will talk about the personal vision statement, 1 or 2 sentences, one I talked about earlier, to summarize the career direction and what you want to achieve. Now you are ready. You have prepared your mission statement. Now you are including it, starting with the mission statement. Then personalized details, specifically your biodata. Right? Here you are talking about who you are. Your biodata has the biological information and the rest of the contact details, etc. Name, the gender, address. Right now, of course, in some companies they go from binary genders to beyond. They have the binary genders, usually the male and female. Now there are new categories as well. So certain equal employment opportunity providers let them have that opportunity. Then address, telephone number, mobile, email, date of birth, and civil status, those things should be mentioned. So that's the biodata. So if you want to take a note, you take it. Then in the next one, you have to focus on the midsection. In the midsection is where you are driving the particular ideas in a detailed manner, right? You have to drive the particular ideas in a detailed manner so that people would know what sort of a person you are. So here you are going to talk about your academic and education qualification being the background. You have to list higher education degrees, diplomas, then GC advanced level, ordinary level details, then the particular university or the school should be mentioned, duration and time period should be mentioned, right? Then you have to give the places of education. These are very important. List them out in the most recent and the highest education qualification pattern. So you have to list out the highest education qualification first, and you have to list out the recent qualification, recent to old. So here the idea is you have to have a comprehensive data presentation. So you have to include the name, year, and address of the schools. Address is not particularly that you should mention the whole address, but maybe where, maybe Colombo, Sri Lanka, something like that. It's better. Not having that, okay, but at least you should mention the country since you are creating an international level CV. Your diplomas, including major fields of study, include the subject options taken, so it will have a good length to your particular CV then. But when you are growing up, when you are moving into different areas, you can shorten this. At this level, as a degree level student, a fresher, you will have to include, because your CV will not be lengthy enough otherwise. Include any special projects that you have undertaken, theses or dissertation work. Then include your grades as well. It's also important that you include your grades, because if you don't have all these things, it's going to look like a desert. Your CV is going to look like a desert. Desert in the sense like Sahara. Okay, so I believe that this is clear. If you have any questions, you can use the raise hand option.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So I have one question. Should we mention the OLL and ALO result in CV?
Yes. As a fresher, you should. Later on, maybe once you have completed your particular professional and academic courses, maybe then you can just pass GC, A level, and O level. But it's always better to have the standards correct. Because some companies, they look at these particular grades, like they look at whether you have taken an A for English, the O level, or for maths, right? Likewise, they have certain things they look at the advanced level and ordinary level. So in that case, it will be beneficial for you to include it, especially when you are a fresher. You should. In my CV, I still have it. Just let it be. Didn't change, because actually in my case they don't need it at all. But I leave it be for me to see, so that I can have a sense of achievement about myself. But mostly they don't ask for my CV. I keep it updated, but very rarely I would get an occasion to send it. So then again, I leave it be, because I believe that it should be standardized and it should have the relevant details. It's our course of life, so we can't omit certain things. So you have to at least mention that you have passed the A levels and ordinary levels. If the results are having certain issues, then make it a summary format. Remember, then go for the functional aspect. And if not, you can go for the hybrid version of it. You only go for the functional aspect if you have some doubts about your results. But then again, I personally know some companies, for their entry positions and management trainee level positions, they look at the A level and O level, specifically for English and maths. Even I would do. I also do that. I check for the result for maths and English, because those are two vital components to understand the logical thinking of the person and the language skill levels. But then again, many people can easily score a good ranking for English. So the next level would be to talk with them and see whether they are doing well. But for maths, it's difficult. If there's a good rating, that means that person has a sort of a logical idea. So those are the things that people won't tell you, right? They won't tell you, but they are looking at things. Rarely, certain companies, they would mention this in their particular job description criteria. They have it in the job specification. They mention these are the things to be maintained. Very rare though, but usually they look at it. I know this as a personal fact, right? Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we are going to the mid section. The start is done. Now the mid. We are batting at the mid level. Right. You need to come up with your professional qualifications. Now, when I say professional qualifications, is this particular degree that you are doing, is it a professional qualification or academic qualification? The degree that you are following at the university.
Academic qualification.
Exactly. It's an academic qualification which is focused on theories and different patterns. So you are not getting the full business aspect of it. In a professional qualification, it is work related and it is where you get the full business aspect of it. So when you conduct and when you engage in a professional qualification, once you are done with it, you can directly go and work, because you are professionally updated. Get this difference correctly into your skull. It's very important, right? Then we have work experience. Wait, I have to mention something more. So in the professional qualifications, you will only mention qualifications which are professional oriented and business oriented. If you have any doubts, you have to clarify this. Whatever the courses that you are going to learn in the university will be mostly academic. unless for the MBA. Master of Business Administration is a professional qualification. It's not an academic one. MSc, academic, Master of Science. BSc, Bachelor of Science, academic. BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration, professional. So likewise, there are differences. So when there's science, when there's theory, it's automatically an academic qualification. So you have to know what you're following, because otherwise you will sound like a fool. When we go through the CV, we see that what is this shoddy work, throwing garbage at us. So we are not going to consider you. Okay. So you have to mention the work-related qualifications or the professional qualifications with the relevant body. The body should be mentioned, and the duration, the time period should be mentioned from when to when, the month and the year, or at least the year should be mentioned. Okay, it's very important. Then only it becomes very professional. Then work experience, the midsection. This is where you do the batting. Introduction done. Now the content, like in an answer. Now here you have to give from most recent to backward. In the course of life, the most recent one should be mentioned first, and then you go backward. So all the entries should have style or a manner. I request or recommend to have a simple table format. Right? Having a table format is very clear and very ATS friendly. Text normal table, right? I'm not talking about these fancy tables. Do not use fancy infographics and tables. Use a simple Word document table and nicely list things out, because otherwise ATS is going to go confused unga bunga, right? Then you have to include all the entries in the same manner, include relevant bullet points, have a proper segregation and clarity. I will talk about it more as well, and talk about the main duties, the activities that you have performed, and the accomplishment that you have had during the working experience. Or maybe you can have two tables, one for the work experience records, then for achievements likewise. It depends. You have to nicely cater it, and never mix up the format that I'm giving you right now. Never mix it, because when we take a CV, we know the format. We will go through that particular format. This is the international accepted level. Whatever the country you go, this is it. So don't mix it up, because you are the one who is going to suffer end of the day. Now there are many people who would frankly tell you that you can be creative and make the CV nice and mix things up. No. Either they are fools or they are trying to fool you. The CV as a standard. This is the only document in your particular job application category. When you tell CV, there are no way around. There are proper international scientific standards where you are not supposed to play around. In the resume, of course, yes. Play around as much as you want, be creative as much as you want. So either those people are referring to the resume when they say that I have seen a lot of people misleading many people. When it comes to CV, no way that you are going to change the format. There's only one format, and it's going to remain. That has been there for 50 odd years or more than that. That's it. You are not supposed to change it, because if you change it, there will be a lot of repercussions which you might know later on, or you might not ever know, but you may lose opportunities. Then you have to give the work experience details properly, like what is the job title, the organization address, the start and end, the month and year, then the duties and accomplishments that you have taken place in particular organizations. But when it comes to the accomplishments, maybe you can have a separate table, because sometimes if you try to put everything, it might be like a little bit clogged up. So you want to highlight the achievements, right? Not to clog it up in some data. So better to extract it and show it separately, then it will look nice. But you are not changing the format. Format in the sense, the flow of information. Then the flow of information will move on to the end section. That is where we are going to talk about other skills, such as different training courses that you have participated, workshops, right? Then the projects that you have engaged to enhance your language, IT, right? Organizing skills, leadership skills, things like that. Specific training programs that you have undergone. Here, maybe if you have followed, like let's say if you have followed my course, the personal development course, then you can mention it here, or else you can mention it in the professional qualification segment as well, because it falls under a professional category. But since it talks about skills, more appropriate place would be here. Other skills you can mention that you you have followed the particular course. So likewise, there can be certain training programs that you have participated and you have certificates. 1-day training programs. So let's say a training program on communication skills. I'm sure in your university you may have participated in such and have particular certificates given by the university. So all of these things will be mentioned here, and the employer will carefully look at these things. So don't be a joke there, right? Don't go and put kindergarten IT qualification, something like a big shot thing. No, sometimes you have to avoid certain things like unnecessary details. Don't go and put them in. Put something that is relevant and important. Now, I don't go and mention the basic IT course that I did in 2002 or 3. No, I'm not going to mention that. Okay, I'm not going to have it in my CV. It can happen because it's not very relevant and pertinent to my job. Because it's understood that I have the basic computer literacy, which I have, and there's more knowledge over the years, right? Then extracurricular activities. Now this one I don't have in my CV because I'm a matured person. But you, as a fresher, may have a lot of information like sports, the clubs that you have worked with, associations. Now in my case, let's say I'm associated with certain social institutes like the Toastmasters Club, then Red Cross, things like that. You can mention, instead of extracurricular activities, you can mention social activities or social work, something like that. Then it will be interesting. Then it's social work, nice, or social contributions. You can change the topic like that, but it should be particularly mentioned at this point. You don't mix up the particular place. Only here, extracurricular activities, you can rename it as social work or something like that, as long as it's relevant to more activities which are social oriented and leadership oriented. Let's say you have had a leadership role in the school, better to mention here certain leadership roles, but not everything. When you are growing up, at this point, as a fresher, mention everything. But once you grow up in the ladder, once you become mature, like 25, 30 odd years, then slowly start to focus on the summary and the condensed version of all of these things, because otherwise you may sound like a joker, right? Then non-related referees. At this point, it's very important that you mention the right sort of people. So it is recommended, highly recommended, to have 3 referees. So that's the latest standard. 1 referee from your education background, 1 referee from your working background, if you are working, or the professional background, and the other one who is a professional and a recognized person whom can vouch for you. Some person who can vouch for you. So those are the 3 best categories, or else you can go for the basic categories. This is 2. 1 from the academic environment or learning environment, 1 from the professional or work environment. So those are the options that you have. Better to go for 3, then it's very powerful. You have to maintain the highest person with the highest social status first, then the next one. But these 3 people should cover those 3 areas that I mentioned about: your academic or educational journey, your professional or work journey, and someone who can really vouch for you. Maybe a person who did a training for you, maybe a person who you have been known for a very long time, who knows about your professional caliber. Now, the person I had for that professional caliber was Mr. Rajamahendran from the Maharaja group, because I have been interacting with him during his lifetime, and he knows that I'm a highly capable guy. He used to know. Now he's RIP, rest in peace. Nice fellow, a very visionary person. Now I have replaced that position with Mr. Felix Fernando, who is the president of the Apparel Industry Associations and the CEO and the chairman of most of the Omega 9 group companies, the apparel industry. So he knows about my capacities. So I have mentioned him. Then I have some other people coming up. A previous boss of mine, the chief auditor, head of the school of CIPM, people like that. So depending on the occasion and time to time, I will mention like that. So you have to come up with the best people whom you know and try to mention them. So at this point, it's okay to mention, now you are in university, so you can mention a person from the university like the lecturer or the dean or someone like that. Then from the professional or the particular work background, you may refer to a person. You can volunteer for certain social groups and work and get their recommendations, so you can mention that. So likewise, you can use these particular things accordingly. At least have 2 referees. 2 is the minimum, 3 is the ideal. And then you have to let them know that you are talking about yourself in full disclosure. We are going to put this particular clause. I hereby declare that the above information is true to the best of my knowledge. That's it. And then what? You have to confirm with a signature and you have to let them know the date. That is it about a CV. Yes, now it's time for you to ask questions. Any questions or any clarifications you require?
What is the process of attaching the cover letter?
You can have two options, right? There are two options. One option is to have it in the email body, right? But if your cover letter is lengthy, it's better to have a short summary in the email body and attach the cover letter. So the CV will start with the cover letter and then we'll move forward to the rest of the areas. Is it understood?
Got it.
Or else,
Yeah.
if it's a short format cover letter, you can mention it in the body itself.
Sir, I have another question, sir.
Nice. Yes, go on.
Sir, now we write a short description about us normally in our CVs, sir.
Mhm.
Like, for example, a young, enthusiastic student who loves to work in challenging environment, something like that. We write. What is the best way to write such a thing, sir? Like, I know it depends.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say, but the thing is, it's all covered under the personal mission statement. That is where you usually cover it. Some people have these specific topics like career objectives, etc., which is not really required actually. You have to mention everything in the mission statement, and after that, no need.
I see. Okay, sir.
The career objectives, as I mentioned earlier, the career objectives and whatever the visions you have, it should be mentioned in the personal statement, right? You don't go and specifically mention it elsewhere. So in the mission statement, you can consider a subtopic format for the mission statement. So there you are going to talk about your vision.
Okay, sir.
You have to be focused on different aspects such as not messing up with the original format. So that's something you have to really focus on. So there you have to ensure that in the personal mission statement, it is mentioned as it should be. Inside that particular area, you can have subtopics. Like you can say career objective. Likewise, you can break into subtopics. But you are not going to mention them here and there as if like it's all over the place. Did you get that point?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Right, we have received the question. It's from Sandeep. Sir, is the time gap become minus point for us? I think you are referring to the time gap in terms of experiences, I believe. As an example, if a student who enters the university not by the first attempt, a considerable gap is occurred from his completion of all A level and the university starting period. Yes, agreed. Or will it become a concern for us if she or she did not engage with any work training or this in that period? Yes, understood. So it's like this. Now, some people, when they do not get the first attempt, certain people have a certain mentality. When they don't get the university entrance, they will apply again and then do the A level, then try to join the particular university, and it creates a certain time gap. First of all, I think it creates a time gap for about 1 year. Yeah, you have to do the second shy or the third shy. If it's a third shy, it's 2 years. And after that, when you enter the university, there's another time gap until they call for applications. So that's what she's trying to ask. So yes, there's a problem. Address that problem during the interview. So in that case, you'll have to go for a functional CV, focusing on more aspects relevant to the skills and have qualifications highlighted, but not trying to create a very chronological order in terms of the qualifications and trying to show the gaps. Just mention the years, and maybe you can have a little statement in your personal statement or in the cover letter. You can say, I'm a eager person who tried my level best to have the university entrance and didn't give up. Likewise, professionally, you can write in a basic nutshell, this is the idea. You are going to mention in your cover letter that you had this problem and you didn't give up. Persistency was your key and you were able to achieve it, and that is one of the major soft skills and one of the major criteria that you thrive in, that you never give up until you find a solution. So likewise, you nicely sugarcoat the particular issue. Do you all get my point? So you show them that it's your quality. Then that particular quality will attract the user or the employer. Then when they go through, they know, yes, there's a gap, but there's a verifiable and a meaningful reason for that, and that can be your strength end of the day. But personally, I don't recommend people to do beyond the second child, because it kills your time. And once you try to enter the particular job market, most of the jobs have been already taken and freshers will be more considered. And if your age is over 25, it's going to be a little bit of a problem, because most of the companies, they take people below 25 for the entry level positions like the assistant level and then the management training, etc.
Thank you, sir.
ATS functionality and how to keep your CV ATS friendly. So when it comes to ATS, it's about applicant tracking system. So it's basically HR function in HRIS, that is Human Resource Information System, where when you apply, it can be automated with the algorithms, artificial intelligence based algorithms, and there are so many things that you can do to get data easily, filter them easily, and it's a different dimension. A lot of activities can be taken care of, and of course we have the capability to cover up most of the actions which have been done by different people manually. Instead of that, we can use the particular ATS to get things done. So in that aspect, analyzing the CV, filtering based on the relevant particulars that the company has set to recruit employees, and to filter the final candidate list based on the qualifications, experience, age limits, etc. All these things could be done through the ATS. So when you are producing a CV, most of the companies nowadays are using ATS friendly mechanisms, and they have different softwares. So you, my friend, will have to cater to this particular aspect, otherwise your application gets rejected. It will get rejected for sure. So that is why you have to be careful when you are using these particular templates which are available online. You have to ensure that your particular job application or the curriculum vitae is created in an order which is simple and easily traceable and readable for the ATS. The optical character recognition, we call it OCR. So if you use unnecessary level of colors, unnecessary levels of graphics, it's going to confuse the particular artificial intelligence algorithm. It might omit, or else it might simply reject the CV with the message that it's not ATS friendly. Previously, like in, let's say, 5 years back, this was not a major scenario, not a major concern. Now the problem is most of the recruitment activities have been automated. So there's less number of recruitment officers, less number of recruitment staff. Unless for the human interaction, for the back office functions, it's mostly automated. So here, it's very important that you have a simple and a consistent layout where it has a clear structure. Avoid using tables, these images, different graphics. As I told you, fancy fonts. Be very sure about it. Like, do not use, now specifically I have seen these cursive writing letters. Don't use them, man. Right? It's confusing. Sometimes you can't read. Looks nice, all fancy and nice, but what's the point if the readability is not there? Use the standard formats like the Times New Roman font, then you have the Calibri. Right? Likewise, use simple fonts which are common. When you use these complicated, like, historical age layouts and type of fonts, it's going to create a mess out of it. Even a person who is checking it manually will find it very difficult to read through. I have had the pleasure of it. They use these cursive letters and creative fonts. It's a big mess, right? Because it might distort the ATS and even confuse or stop the functionality. Then they will remove the files with errors and then rerun it. The removed files with errors, if it's you, that means you are rejected at the first instance without getting a chance at all. Then use keywords from the job description. Now let's say In the job description, there are different skills, experiences, qualifications mentioned. So you have to use the particular keyword. ATS, when they want to match it with the job description or the specification, it will run the show, run the particular algorithm, and then find for the particular keyword. And if the keyword is there, it will stop there and extract the data. So you use it. So for example, as I mentioned here, if the job description asks something like excellent communication skills, so in your skill set, you mention excellent communication skills. Then proofread the CV with care. Carefully, very mindfully read it for spelling errors, grammar, punctuation errors, punctuation marks, different layout errors. Look at all of these things, because otherwise it will get rejected and the score might get low down. The ATS is giving a ranking, right? It gives a certain score to all the CVs that is coming up. So that particular score will go down. Or altogether, the worst case, your CV might get rejected. There are 5 C's to follow up. The first thing is you have to be very clear. Your particular CV should have a clear, a logical, organized manner. Direct and forward language should be there, not to confuse the user or the reader. Clear, simple sentences should be used. It should be concise. You have to have relevant and necessary details. Usually a CV will have 7 organized sections, as I've explained up to now. Usually it's 7, maximum 8. So these things should be relevant and these areas should be concise and nicely summarized. Right? Condensed viewpoint, nicely condensed to 7 areas, short and simple. Condensed means like condensed milk. You condense 3 liters into 1 liter of condensed milk when it comes to milk, right? Then it should be complete. Don't give shoddy work. Include everything. Focus on the particular skills. No grammatical errors, no spelling errors. Very much complete. Everything is there. All the necessary detail, whatever the particular interviewer or the employer wants to go through, it should be there. Then consistency, very important. Have a proper format. Don't mix up the fonts, don't mix up the styles, don't try to be over creative. It's ideal to have Times New Roman 12 and to leave the margin at 1 inch, so that when they want to, let's say it's a physical document, when they want to punch it and put it in the file, when you have the 1 inch, it's easy, right? So these are simple things. Then the information should be current, should be well updated. So you have to have this in place. So these 5 C's you have to maintain. And if you maintain that, you are golden and you are ready to win the game. So let's talk about crafting effective cover letters. So what happens here is that I'm going to give you some guidance. There's no specific or exact way of writing this, but there are certain rules that you can follow and it can really help you. So let me give you some insights. The competitive edge of the cover letter will depend on how you work with the psychology of the particular reader. So you have to work with the particular idea. The CV will usually tell that you can do the job, but scientifically, psychologically, a cover letter will explain why you deserve it, so that the person who is reading it will be more oriented to invite you to have a interview, because it's more personalized and psychologically approachable. Then a well-written and a well-focused cover letter combined with a well-presented CV can be the winning combination, because psychologically you are doing the needful with the cover letter. Whatever that you can't talk due to the standard approach in the CV can be taken up in the cover letter, and you can overcome the particular limitations and then make it a wonderful experience. Then what are the jobs that you're applying for and how did you come across it? You can only speak about it in the cover letter. Nowhere else. In the CV, you can't talk about it. So this is the next level. So what are the jobs that you are applying for? Now, there's a particular job that you are applying in the CV. You can't mention so many jobs. But in the cover letter, you can mention, I'm interested in this particular job. But apart from that, I'm interested in these jobs as well. I'm capable and skillful enough for these jobs as well. And you can tell them how you came across the particular job posting. That's going to be beautiful in terms of a wholesome experience for the user or the reader. Then why do you do this? Why are you doing this, right? Now for that you have to tell them what are you doing at present, your present engagement, and why do you need a change, and what are the best skills and your experiences which are going to make you the best candidate. So here, by doing all these things, you are psychologically approaching the reader and guiding them towards a informed decision. Now you are guiding them to know about you, to have a psychological connection with you through the words, and you are going to nail it at the end, right? So the basics of a cover letter will comprise these areas. It's a one-page document, right? One page. Don't write like a love letter. Gosh, 3-4 pages, never. So one-page document that introduces yourself and it explains about the interest that you have about the particular job and highlights the different skill sets and the qualifications which you have to match the job. Then it's an opportunity for you to show your personality, how motivated you are, and how fit or how apt or how suitable you are for the particular position. Then there are different cover letter types. One will be the standard cover letter. Then you can go creative, and as it was asked earlier, you can go with an email cover letter as well. So these are the different 3 options that you can go for. And the standard cover letter will be formal layout. It's formally styled, right? And it will have your contact details, dates, the salutations, opening, the paragraphs, body paragraphs, etc. And it will be closed and with a signature. So there's a start, end, salutations, and all that. It's very standard, like a standard letter, right? So it is more suitable where you are applying for many jobs, where in the industry or wherever you go, the standard cover letter is more than enough. You don't have to go creative. So you can be very simple with it, right? So in a creative cover letter, it's informal. It's not standard. It doesn't have a standard format, and you have to show the creativity and originality, right? You can include images, different graphics, likewise. So the standard cover letter is a letter. It's a standard letter that you are going to present. Here, it may have different graphics, and it may be a particular letter that you nicely match to the particular job, right? And it's suitable where you need some artistic capabilities, some innovation. If you are applying for a job which is in line of that, a creative cover letter is going to nail the job for you. But if it's a standard job, please go with the standard cover letter, right? Now in my case, I use the particular email cover letters mostly, and I have a mix of standardization and creativity. It's a standard letter, but there's a slight bit of creativity. In an email cover letter, you have to ensure that it's standard, but it's more shorter. It's not going to go up to 1 page. It's going to be very short and very precise and concise. It's better when you are applying through online applications, because you have limited number of words that you can use for a particular application, and it has to be very clear and concise and also very direct. So that's how you do the email cover letter. So let me give you some ideas about cover letter opening. So you have to grab the reader's attention. That's the introduction level opening, and you want them to give an idea about you. And then you have to start with your name, let them know about the position applied and how you came across the particular job. And you can include things like, we call it a hook, where you show your enthusiasm. Psychologically, you create the curiosity, eagerness of the reader, and try to create a connection and make you the best suitable candidate through your words, through beautiful words. For example, now here you can see, dear Mr. Smith, I'm writing to express my interest in the position of marketing manager at the company. I have been following, right? I have been following your company's growth. Now you are showing interest, eagerness. Then you are like, he likes our company and success for the past 2 years, and I'm impressed by your innovative and customer-oriented approach for marketing. I see nicely capturing Mr. Smith's mindset. You start with the name of the person, give the position that is applied, how you came across that, how you are interested about it, and giving some appreciation for the particular person, how nicely doing the job and approaching the customer, in this case the person who is going through your CV, in a very creative manner through your cover letter. Then we are going for the body. Here you have to showcase this is the content. This is where you prove your point that you are the best fit for the company, highlight the particular skills and match the particular job requirements, and explain what is the value that you add into the company. Now here you can include different accomplishments, achievements that you have come across, can demonstrate your abilities, right? Like this. as a marketing manager with over 6 years experience, blah blah. I have these skills. I have successfully increased these things. So you are showing your skills and value, and at the end you are giving a tangible value as well. For instance, I managed to launch this particular mobile app and was able to create this type of revenue. So likewise, in the body, you build the case, quantify it, give measurement, right? Measurable results, and then finally you put the nail in the coffin, right? In this case, it's the success that you're putting the nail on, not a coffin. It's not dead, but success. Here, you reiterate, remind them about how enthusiastic and eager you are to work in the particular company, and you call for action. You ask them to talk to you, summarize the main points, express your appreciation of the opportunity given, and invite them to contact you. Call for action. We call it call for action in marketing, right? So that you can have a discussion or an interview. So for example, you can have something like this: I am very excited about the possibility of joining the XYZ company, what is the company, as a marketing manager and contributing to its vision and excellence, blah blah. And you, what you believe, and you reaffirm, you confirm your ideas, and then you thank them for considering and giving them the time and looking forward to hear from you. Nice closure, right? So likewise, you can use these ideas. So when you are planning for the resume, it's very important that you focus on the resume in a professional manner. Resume is a document where you create for a professional purpose. Now, this is a resume and this is a profile. Profiles are created by professionals who wants to give a summary about what they are doing. A resume is created for a particular job. So what you create as CVs are mostly something like this, which is not correct. This is a profile. On the right hand side, it's my profile. The length is shorter. When it's a resume, it's a brief summary, one-page document. The purpose is different. When it's a resume, you are more focused on a tailored position. You are focused on a skill level job where you are just catering for that aspect. Resume is a summary. Resume means it's a summary. Okay? Resume, the idea is summary. Summary of a particular job that you applied for, nothing else. So that particular summary will not have, let's say you are applying for an engineer position, you are not going to talk about the IT skills that you have. You are going to talk about the particular engineering qualifications and engineering experiences. You may have worked at an IT company, but that is not relevant for this particular job application. What you need to explain are the construction level experiences. Likewise, okay. The layout is also, you can shuffle as much as possible, not like the CV. In a CV, there's a clear chronological order or functional order or hybrid order. There's an order which you don't mess up with. You don't create abominations. But in resumes, you can shuffle it according to your particular taste to make it more creative, right? Based on the applicant, you can do all that things. So when you are working on a resume, you have to understand the basics. The basics would be, it's a one-page summary where you have work experience and background relevant to the job. It's a concise and a clear document where you highlight the particular education qualifications, your background, so that you showcase the suitability for the particular job. That's it, nothing else. You don't mention the course of life here, just the particular idea. So here, whether you are going for a resume or for a CV is depending on your requirements. So you have to decide, are you going to apply for a particular job which requires a particular skill set, and whether the employee is asking for a resume or a CV. Depending on that, you can decide depending on the situation. If you are applying for jobs in US, Canada and all that, where it's more appropriate to go for a resume, where because you are applying for skill level jobs, right, which require specific skills, and there instead of a CV, you have to cater your particular application in terms of a resume. In USA or Canada, or whenever you go for a different country, you will understand that they ask for resumes mostly, and these resumes should be particularly focused on the job that you are applying to, right? So there's no problem there, no other decision to be taken. In Sri Lanka, you have to take the decision properly, but in a foreign country, they will clearly say whether it's a resume or a CV that they require. So when you are preparing, there are 3 resume types. So you have to decide what is the format that you are going to use based on the job that you are seeking. Then after that, you can go for reverse chronological, functional, or a combination of both. Those are the options. In a reverse chronological order, you have to list your particular work experiences, where the order you start with the most recent one and going back. So it's like the CV, but more focused on the particular job role. So here you are going to list only the work experience that are relevant to the job. Okay, not all the work experiences you had. In a CV, you will mention all the experiences you had, but in a resume, you will only mention the latest. And going down in the chronological order, reverse chronological order, you will only mention what you have covered in terms of the specific job. If it's a construction site job, as an engineer, you will only talk about the construction and engineering jobs that you have had during your past life, but not about other. Let's say you have worked as a banker, not relevant. Let's say you have worked as a marketer, not relevant. You are not going to mention that. But in a CV, you are going to mention that. Do you understand the difference? So if you have a consistent work history, this is very good for you. And if not, functional resume, yeah, you are going to focus, similar to CV, you are going to focus on the skills and attributes, because you don't have much to show in the work history. Then again, you are focused on the particular job only. You are not going to discuss about all and everything there. Then finally, you can go for a combination of a resume which has both aspects, where if you have a balance in between these skills and the work history. Now remember, here we are not talking about much about qualifications. We are talking about more work oriented stuff. It's about, in a resume, it's more about work skills, work history, professional qualifications, professional achievements. Those are the things you list, so you can go for a little mix of everything.